It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No, we're gonna watch and listen.
Welcome, everybody. Open door with
Hello.
Barb Hartman. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Wonderful. So,
Good.
yeah, a little
Good.
bit, but I am here. So, yes.
All right. I figured you're
Yeah.
a busy man.
Ah, hey, when it was late for dinner, I'm never. So, yes. I was like, and I was like, yeah, burn my mouth and everything. So how's everybody doing? Welcome. So we have some interesting things going on today, don't we?
Yeah.
So what we got cooking?
Barb Shupe is back. And the woman behind your life-changing video of the cloaking, right?
Yeah,
So
the one that scares me to death. Yeah. Hello,
Hi,
my gal.
Nigel.
Welcome back to the show, Porta. So, yeah, she's backstage. She's smiling. I see her. Let's go ahead and bring her on.
Awesome.
Hello
Okay.
there, Barb. How are you doing?
Hi, Barb.
I'm good. How are you?
Up.
Well, she was there.
He's cloaking. Barb's cloaking.
There we go. There she's
Hello.
back. Yeah. And we'll try that again there.
Oh, no, Jack, hush.
That's
okay,
her dog,
okay.
I
man.
say, that is a dog man. Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
No, Jack, it's okay.
It's all right.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
No,
that's
it
okay.
has no big
I'm
deal
not
at
sure
all.
who I'm talking to.
Totally no. Yeah.
Jack,
He's like, what's going on?
It's okay.
So how are you doing, Barb?
I'm doing good.
Good. Lots of interesting happenings at your place.
Oh yeah, we just got done with a camp out this last week, and in the weeks before that, there was just so much going on here leading up to it, and I just knew it was going to be an awesome camp out, and it really was. It was probably one of the best we've ever had.
Really cool.
Yeah,
That's great.
We had 6 sightings, out 8 if you count the blurs that were just too fast to identify.
That's
So
awesome.
Wow.
Now tell the viewers, how does it work with your campouts? How does that go? How's it work?
well, I usually go into our spot on Monday and I'll pick up whatever trash there is, and I'll bring in, the canopies, the group area, the potty tent, get it all set up, and then our campers arrive whenever they're ready to throughout the week.
Okay.
And we just enjoy the woods and each other, and we have been going to these same places for almost 9 years now, and we've developed quite a relationship with the forest folk, and I think they look forward to these things as much as we do.
Yeah. So do you go to the same spot?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But we're right here in the Greenwater Valley, so they know us pretty much wherever we go. It's the same clan.
Now, your group, is this a group of investigators that you have been working with for a while? How does that work? How do you get in your group?
It started just when I was very active with my YouTube channel, and we started having our campouts about 9 years ago, and that's when I made a few posts looking for people who would like to join. And since then, we've collected some researchers, experiencers, and just basically people who have felt the call to be out there. Our goal isn't necessarily to produce evidence or prove anything. Our goal is to have a respectful interaction and learn through being in the woods and having them come into camp and hang out with us. So
That's crazy. That's crazy.
No, it's awesome.
No, it's great. No, how beautiful. We got to tell her that story.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, so Grizzly
Yeah.
had his first sighting. Well, through a
Okay.
fun.
Real sighting,
Yeah.
not the ones in the bushes and check the trees and throwing crap at you and all that other stuff. So I'm seeing this girl. She's psychic medium, and she knows things before it happens. Of course, that's why she's got that whatever title or label. And she was like, "It's getting ready to rain." And I'm like, "Oh, it's nice, dear." And it started raining. And she goes, "It's getting ready to hell." And she reaches over and takes her phone and turns it over, and it starts to howl. And she goes, "Look how beautiful it is." And I'm like, "Oh my God, no, there's Bigfoot right there, 40 feet from your door right there. There's a Bigfoot." And she goes, "It's beautiful, isn't it?" And boom, crack, there's this big lightning and thunder. And she's like, "Isn't that beautiful?" And it's starting to whoa back and forth. I'm like, "No, hold your phone still. Don't." And she's like, "I see it, but isn't it beautiful, the storm?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, are you like, really?"
She sounds like she belongs in our camp.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
man,
she's
she'd
great.
have a ball. Yeah, I mean, she goes out in the middle of the woods with just like no flashlight, no nothing, and just hangs out with them. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
that's
got
awesome.
them all over her property. Yeah,
Congrats to her.
Yeah.
She's a quite the clan living on her property that she has a great relationship with.
Oh, she's
So,
something
yeah,
too.
she's
I'm
used to
telling
seeing
you.
them.
Yeah. So hello, Chris. What's up? Yeah. So we're talking about Sasquatches and clans and how beautiful things are. So, and talking about Barb's video that scared the daylights out of me. So, because people always said they cloaked, but they never saw it. Now we got people out in the woods chasing things that they don't know what they've seen, but they can't find it. So they're like, "I know it was there." And they're chasing around camcorders and video recorders and they can't find it. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, things are out there.
Yes,
definitely are.
So, yes, Crazy Witch, welcome. So, you're doing some yard work. Awesome.
And Twisted Witch, too. Hello.
Twisted Witch. Did I miss that one?
She's up there in the comments, or right under Nigel. Yeah, I don't think we said hello to her.
Oh, Twisted Witch. Hello there. Can't wait to see this video. Yeah, I did pass you up. I'm sorry. See, I got so tangled up and beautiful. But anyways, yeah, so we had to go and tell our story everywhere.
Yeah.
My uncle's a big Bigfoot fan too. Well, that's awesome. I love Bigfoot. I do not like Dogman though. No. And so I get the holy water out. And I just like. But
Barb,
yes,
do you have any experience with Dogman? Have you ever seen him around or one around here?
You know, I think they're hanging around with the Sasquatch here. We've had experiences up the trail where two of us saw Sasquatch and the third person saw what he described as a wolf that was with them on all fours. And I think on our last visit, I had a picture that I showed you of a clip from years ago when I turned around and scanned behind me and there was something up on the hill behind a stump. And when we zoomed in on that, it had a very dog-like face. I've never had any bad or scary experiences with them. So I just kind of figure they just hang out with the Sasquatch.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's what I'm hoping if I ever experience
everybody
one.
I talk to that's got these creatures that live on their property, Barb, never's got any bad experiences. And Sonia's like, "Come on out with me. I'll take you and let you meet them." Are you freaking crazy? Now, these things can smell fear. They can smell hormones and pheromones, right? They're like, "Oh, hell no." I've been with this girl since she was a child.
Time you won't be so afraid.
That's what Sonia tells him.
Yeah.
They've
my
had
luck.
40 years to get me, and I'm still here.
Yeah,
that's what she says. That's exactly. Yeah, but but say they known her since she was a child, and she, that she's not been around men, so she's bringing a man around, and boy, you get that alpha male that's been around. You're like, "What are you doing with that guy over there?" No, Y'all go ahead and laugh. You all think it's funny. Unbelievable.
Sorry.
I know. Hey, if human beings get jealous, animals get jealous. I see what happens when silverbacks get jealous of each other. They beat the Tarzan out of each other. So. Isn't that right, Crazy Witch? Much love to y'all. Hope y'all done. Yeah. Well, oh my gosh. Anyways, click off that topic right there. But yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, so Barb posted a great synopsis of what happened in a short amount of time, and I want you to tell us about that. There was also some videos and some pictures, and I'm going to post the links in the interest of time. I'll post the links to your page and to my No Drama page so people can look at it.
Okay.
Do you want me to show the video though that you emailed me about or sent to me from post camp, or with the little?
Let's see. Well,
That was
hold on with that one for a few
okay.
minutes.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll tell you
go
about
ahead
how
and
things kind of started before
yes,
this
please.
camp out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. So when we had our last visit, remember I had just showed you a video where the moss was torn on one of the trees out by the
Yes.
river where something had been climbing.
Yes.
So actually, when I found that, I didn't realize quite how fresh it was. I'd gone back out there just a few days later, and I was kind of surprised to see that the moss that had been pulled off the tree was drying. And so I just kind of figured moss on a tree during wet season, it's going to be just fresh no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was drying out even though it was still raining. And so those marks were really fresh. So then it was probably not more than a week after that it was like 1:30 at night. I just turned the light off, and I usually sleep with the window open here so I can listen to the creek and hear what's going on outside. And almost immediately I hear these big feet walking down the creek, the splash, splash, splash. And I could hear some grumbling as they went by the window. I could hear talking that was a little farther away that I couldn't make out what it was. A lot of movement back and forth, sticks breaking. And at one point, you know how you get that spidey sense where all your hair just kind of stands on end and you can just feel the electricity in the air? Well, I knew that somebody was just outside the window, and my stomach started getting upset. And it was, gradual for maybe 5 minutes. And I got really nauseous, and then it just completely stopped. I was fine. And I just kind of took that as, well, it was either, close proximity to some focused energy, maybe, a little infrasound, maybe a little scanning, checking me out, seeing how I'm doing.
Okay.
At one point there was a whoop that was a little farther off, and I don't hear a lot of whoops here in Greenwater. So that was really cool. Yeah. That went on till probably 3:30 in the morning when I finally said, guys, it's late. I got to go to sleep. I hope you're all having a fine time out there. And then at 6 o'clock, Goldie got me up because, she still has to go potty at the normal time. So we go out there, and I took her out across the road to do her business, and turned around and looked, and I could see all these new prints that were all around the edge of the creek out by the bridge. So we went out with the camera and got some footage of that. You could see on the other side, you could see the footprints where they had come out so fast that the feet had slid into the moss and flipped the moss over.
Wow.
And so then there was, let's see, a few days later, I was out raking the driveway and just, tidying up, cleaning up the winter debris. And I came in, took a little break. I was getting over COVID, and I didn't have a lot of strength. Mm-hmm. So I'd go out and I'd work for 15, 20 minutes, and then I'd have to come in and sit down for a little bit. So I go back outside, and there's sticks and glyphs and things that are kind of here on the patio. And I'm thinking, well, did this stuff just fall from the trees in the few minutes that I've been in here? So I went out and I took some pictures of that. And then I went back to where I was working out on the driveway, and there's a big leaf maple stem about so long from last season. It's not even like new or fresh. This is an old stem that's been embedded in the compact gravel driveway about an inch, and it's standing straight up.
Wow.
Well, this has extra significance because a friend of mine in Portland had just recently sent me a picture of exactly the same thing that she had just found in her yard within a week prior. So this had extra significance. And I'm thinking, this is really cool. Well, then the next day, my husband was dropping off some firewood for the camp out, and he doesn't know anything about this little big leaf maple stick that's out there.
Okay.
So, he's just throwing the firewood out, and I was happy to go see that he had not trampled it or buried it under wood, although it had gone from straight up to leaning. So then I'm out there and I'm stacking the wood, and Goldie comes walking up to this stick, and she just kind of like sniffs at him, uses her nose to push it straight up, and then just walks away. Like this is a normal thing for dogs to do. It's just, she knows things.
Yeah.
She's okay. Wow. So that's weird. So then right about that time, we got home one night and she's in here, she's carrying on. It's like, well, she wants a carrot. She wants a carrot. So I give her carrots. That's not going to make her happy. All right, you got to go potty. Let's go outside. So I take her out. That's not what she wants. She's looking at something around the corner of the porch here. And it's like, what is this? So I look over and here I've got 3 rocks about so big that are round, 3 different sizes that basically live on the porch right here. And they had been taken off the bench and dropped into the flower bed, along with a little stick about so long was stuck into the dirt beside them. And there's like this great big print right there in the dirt next to them too.
Wow.
And so, okay, well, I see this is what you're trying to get my attention for. So the next day I took a feather and I put it in there as my offering to say thank you. And then a few days later I had a robin feather I found and I stuck that in there beside it. And those were both taken sometime between 7 and 9 o'clock in the morning, about 3 days after I put them in there. They're just gone. And then, while I was out there doing more yard work, I could hear vocals. There was a little bit of a breeze one day. So I'm hearing this tree kind of squeaking and squealing, except the wind stops and I'm still hearing the squeaking and squealing. And there's a weird owl over here and there's a whoop over there. Well, and then I got to noticing that the trailhead that's near my cabin here, I'd hear these sounds. And then like a minute or two later, somebody'd come down off the trail on a mountain bike or a jogger or somebody. So it was all, it became apparent that these were like signals that somebody's coming. And at one point it was even somebody was coming from the direction up by the highway. Somebody was going up the trail and the signals came a minute or two before they showed up. So, I mean, I can see how when somebody's coming out of the woods and they know, but how do they know when somebody's going to the woods?
Right.
So that surprised me.
Yeah.
So then there was one day I stepped out onto the porch and just got a glimpse, looked across the river and there's something black and boxy just kind of squiggled its way up out of the water and up the bank. So it's okay. I'm watching it. And I've seen otters over there before, but they, they come up and they go back in and they play in the water. And well, I'm watching and nothing ever comes back down. So I'm thinking, was this a little bear? What was this? I'm thinking, it was a little bit smaller than Goldie. Goldie's about 60 pounds. So I'm thinking this was maybe 50 pounds. And I'm thinking about the otters. Otters, they do this. And this was
undulate
sideways. It was more like an alligator squiggle. And it didn't have a tail. So I'm thinking, well, maybe there's a little bear cub or something. Do bears squiggle? So I asked in our local Facebook group, on the other side of the river, has anybody seen any bears up there? I just saw something come out of the river and go that way, thinking, if there was like a little, maybe a cub had fallen into the river and maybe mom is going to be up there looking, there'd be some sign of these bears, right? Nobody saw any bears up there, but I did have 2 neighbors report that their dogs were kind of freaking out over nothing. So then I, just by process of elimination, going by the size and the shape and the way it moved, I'm thinking that was probably a little Sasquatch.
Oh, how cute.
So,
oh my gosh. Wow.
Let's see, what else happened? There was, well, I forget what all else there was going on here, but there was quite a bit. Oh, one morning I went out to take the dog for her pee, and there's a big stick stuck in the ground right there by the end of the trail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're just all kinds of little signs all over the place.
Yeah.
So then I kind of know that this is going to be an awesome camp out because all of this activity that's just been leading up to it is just kind of, the energy is high, that I know they're here, they're wanting to interact. And, I made a few changes in the way that we set up our group site up there. And it really paid off.
Oh,
I set us up closer to the water where, we couldn't hear as well because the water's really high, but we had a great view of the sky and the river bed and cross. And it gave us a lot more area, I think, where we could have them come in around us and play. So we went up on Monday and there were 3 of us and Heidi and Cindy and I, and we set up our potty tent, which is a big like dome tent. And it's got no floor in it. We got the post hole digger, dig a deep hole, put the chair over it. We've got a table, that's got a hand washing station and towels and, all the stuff's right there. It's very nice. And we get the tent set up and you pick it up, and between the three of us, we set it over the chair and the hole, and it's all perfect, right? So 20 minutes later, I'm at my tent and I look over toward the potty tent and it doesn't look right. So I go over there and look, and the entire back side, all the clips had been taken off of the poles. So the whole back side of it was just hanging slack. And it takes some effort to get these clips off. They don't just like fall off.
Oh
you know?
my gosh.
So then that we had set up in the group area, we got this little garbage can, it's collapsible, and we just line it with a hefty bag. And I go over there and look, and there's this branch about so long that's very flexible that has been put inside the top of the can that's literally holding the plastic bag up. And I'm looking at Cindy like, well, this is really cool. What a great idea. And she's like, I didn't do that. That just kind of appeared there by itself. So I was like, okay, well, that's really handy. Because they see us pick up all the trash. So I suppose they want to be helpful, right?
Yeah.
So then Heidi and I both left to go pick up another carload of stuff. And we left Cindy there watching camp. And while we were gone, she was sitting by the fire and keeping a very close eye on the potty tent. Okay. And so she noticed that there was something up on the hillside just beyond it that looked like a Sasquatch up there. So she's kind of watching that, and then she's looking back to the potty tent to see what's going on. And in between staring at whatever that was on the hill and looking back, and then look back at the figure on the hill, the figure had disappeared and had just basically become a flat stump, which she was debating in her mind. Am I looking at a Sasquatch, or is this like a snag, a stump that looks like a Sasquatch? But so that was the first sighting in camp. And that was on the day we were setting up. Oh, wow. And that's cool. So they were there ready and waiting to play with us.
Yeah.
Wow. So on Wednesday, I got to have 2 sightings myself, 3 if you count a black blur that was moving too fast to identify.
Wow.
So we were getting ready to go drumming. It was evening and it was dusk, and I was walking from the group area to my tent. And I kept smelling berries, like this really intense berry smell. And it's like, I'm looking around, there's not even any berry blossoms, there's no reason for this smell to be here. It was like walking through a jar of preserves. So I go to my tent, I walk through it, I come back from my tent, I walk through it again. And then I get back and I realized that what I had gone to the tent for, I didn't even grab. I came back with something completely different. So then I had to go back to my tent again, and I walked through the smell again, and then came back and walked through it again. So that's 4 times I've walked through it now. Yeah. So I can see Debbie and Terry are getting up, and they're kind of walking toward me. And I called them over. It's like, come over and smell this. Well, they got to smell it too. Very intense. But at that point, it was like turning on and off. It would be like you'd walk into it, you'd walk out of it, and then it just wasn't there anymore. So I'm glad they got to experience it too, because after that, it was just gone. Yeah. So that's when we went for our little drumming session. One of the guys had just had an experience with whistles kind of up on the hill by his camper as he was coming out. So I gave him a flashlight, and he was going to lead Tracy and I in the drumming. And I told him, we're going to follow you. You just take us where your heart desires. Okay. So he takes us up the road, up onto the hill. And as we're going up there, we picked up a few other campers who were following along with us. And one was in front next to the guy with the flashlight. And then Tracy and I were drumming. And then there were people behind us. So we get to the top of the hill, and I turn around, and there's like one guy behind us. And we're all just kind of like dumbfounded. We thought there was a group behind us. So where'd all the rest of the people go? Okay, well, that's just a weird little anomaly. Very strange. So we go back down to the main group site. And as we walking into the road that takes us to it, I told Tracy, well, I'm just going to veer off here and go put my drum away in my tent, which was just, 50 feet away. And so I did. I went and I set my drum on my tent in my cot, on my cot in my tent with the beater. And I said, hey, this is here. You want to play with it? Go ahead. And then I just walked right back out to the main road and continued to the group area. So I get out to the end of my little driveway that goes to my tent, and approximately 30 feet right in front of me, there's a Sasquatch standing there right on the edge of the road, tall, skinny, I'm say about 7 feet tall. And he's between the trees. He's perfectly backlit from the fire and all the lights at the group area.
Oh my
And he just
gosh.
kind of turns and he takes like 2 steps behind the SUV that was parked there, and he just disappears into the darkness on the left side of the road.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
in my head, I've got like all these thoughts just like instantly happen. And it's like, first, it's like, well, it's the people I just came down with. No, well, why doesn't he have a light? Well, wait, they're over there. Holy cow, he's tall. Oh my gosh, it's not them. It's a Sasquatch. And this
Wow.
just like all goes through my head in one,
Yeah.
just the blink of an eye. And, you know, looking back at it now, it was backlit and it was very dark, so I couldn't really see any detail. But what I could see, he was like all legs. And you remember the old John Cleese thing, the funny walk, you know, where he's got the legs going? It kind of reminded me of that a little bit, you know, where he's just all legs.
Yeah,
as
all
he crossed
legs.
the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Cool.
I'm really stoked now. I go over to the group area and I'm like, I just had a sighting. He's right here. He's right here. I just had a sighting. And everybody's at the fire is going, oh my God, you've got to see this stick. And I'm like, what stick? I just had a sighting. And they're like, you got to see the stick. I just had a sighting. So it turns out that right where at the back of the vehicle where I had just had my sighting, the people who had just come back ahead of me had found this little branch that was up underneath the back of Heidi's SUV, balanced by just this one little tip up against the undercarriage. So it's just this beautifully displayed little branch, just perfectly balanced 3 feet from where the Sasquatch was 30 seconds later.
Oh my gosh.
So they're all excited about the stick.
Yeah. And you're like, there's a Sasquatch. That's what we're here for.
So, and while we're all over there looking at the stick, I can still hear the Sasquatch. He's breaking sticks. He's right here just off the road in the darkness. So now I'm thinking, well, Terry and Debbie, they're up on the hill at the camp just above this area. I got to go tell them what happened. So, you know, so I go up there and here they're sitting in the dark in their chairs facing uphill. So I get in front of them and I'm talking to them, which puts me facing downhill toward the area where all this stuff had just happened. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling them, you know, you guys need to turn around. But they're just like, no, we're comfortable, you know. So I'm standing there talking to them and I'm telling them about all this stuff that happened. And like, I don't know, maybe 30 feet behind them, that's when the first black blur goes through. And it's maybe 4 feet off the ground. And as it crossed the light from my tent that was just over the edge, it dimmed the light as it went by.
Oh, wow. And
I'm like, oh my gosh, this just ran through just right behind you guys. You got to turn around. And they're like, you know, we're comfortable. Okay. All right. So I'm still standing there facing that way, talking to him. And I see this like black figure pops up over the edge and he's blocking out the light from my tent, which is just beyond him. So he pops up and he goes that way. And I'm thinking, okay, this is the same one that I had just seen a few minutes earlier down below behind Heidi's SUV. And so I'm thinking this is part of the same sighting, right?
Yeah.
But later on we discussed this and decided, no, this gets to be 2 separate sightings. So and 3 if you count the blur.
Well, 3, yeah, with the little blur, yeah.
Okay. So at this point, and while this is happening, there's also a couple of like grapefruit sized flashes of light that are just kind of like in the trees right off to the side over here. Wow. And finally, I convinced them to turn around and look the other way. And by this time, I'm getting tired because, you know, I just been on this drumming hike and you know, all this excitement. And I'm going back down to the group site. And I'm going to sit down and rest for a few minutes. So I get down there and I'm not even there 10 minutes. And I hear Terry on the radio. We just had a black blur go by and block out the lights again.
Oh my
God.
God.
So that was the second black blur part of that experience.
Wow.
So pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So
was that
beautiful?
That shows these sticks that we found the next morning that were right there by my tent. Mm-hmm. So that's what that video is that I sent you.
Okay. All right.
So if you want to play that.
Yeah, let's watch that.
Yeah, Sonia would definitely fit in with you, Barb. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so there's my tent. Between the upper area and my tent, looking for signs of the action from last night. And there's some marks on the ground that look relatively fresh right here, but we can't say what made them. But then we noticed we have sticks stuck in the ground right here, and a bigger one.
Wow.
Pretty cool, huh? I think some of these are elk, because there were a lot of elk tracks right here when I got here, but these look a lot fresher right there. Wow, that's cool.
That's something.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, so sticks like that started popping up around camp, and there was actually a fourth one that was there that I thought was a stump that had been split at the top and had a stick through it like this, kind of aiming at the hill at one direction and back toward the group area behind it.
Yeah.
And I had done tours going through and telling the story and showing those sticks of 2 people at a time, just so everything wouldn't get trampled. And I think it was between tour 3 and 4 that we discovered that it wasn't actually a split stump, that also popped out of the ground. It was just a stick with a fork with another stick through it, like a pointer that was right there with those.
Yeah.
So
wow. Cool.
and that just shows the connection, because here we've been getting these sticks at the cabin, and my friend in Portland is getting sticks, and there are just things happening everywhere that are so similar, connecting everybody. And then you get to this camp out and they're showing the same thing. They give us the sticks.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Stuck in the
and it's beautiful.
Unbelievable. She would be looking at the sticks going, look how beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So Barb knows how you feel.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When you said the what happened to the group that you said you were walking up and and drumming, and then you look back and nobody was, where were they? Was it because of the stick?
I don't know. I think there was one guy that followed us, and he swears he's the only one that came. It's just that, everybody that was facing the uphill that we were drumming and walking uphill, we all just had this sense that there were more people that were with us, and here it just turned out to be one guy that was following behind when we were drumming. Wow. So it was just a very odd sensation.
You think that some Sasquatch were, kind of,
there could have been, some kind of something in a spirit form or cloak form or something. And, also when we got up there where we stopped, we were under a rock face, and we stopped and visited for a little bit there before we came back down. And there were a lot of rocks and pebbles and things that were coming down off of that rock face. And the one guy that followed us up there actually got hit in the arm a couple of times with a pebble that was coming down. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So now explain to can you explain to us, because I know, but for the viewers, like with the drumming, how does that work, and why do you do it, and what kind of a drum are you? You just explain that, please.
Well, I don't think it makes any difference what kind of drum it is, as long as it's something that you can play with, and you don't even have to be an actual musician. A drum is something that you can beat to your own heartbeat, and that's one of the things I'll do is I'll hold the drum up to my chest and I'll just beat out my intentions and thoughts and prayers, and just try to spread out through the beat of the drum my I guess intentions and emotions through the forest, is just a way to connect with nature, and they seem to like it. They want to come in. We've had campouts before when, with limited instruments, where everybody just kind of beats on whatever you got or uses whatever you brought. One fellow had, I think it was just a stick, and he was whacking on the chopping block in tune to the rest of the group. And I was watching him, and his arm would come up and then go down, and there'd be bang, and then bang. And then I noticed it was bang, 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 bang. And I said something. And as soon as he stopped, of course, that extra beat stopped too. But you could tell that somebody else had joined in, and was keeping time with us, even though, it was in between the beats that we were making. So,
yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, making music makes us shine, and it makes us happy. And I think they like to see that. And they love the energy that we put off when we're making music and just, enjoying ourselves and each other and nature. And
Yeah.
it's
That's
beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
probably going to say that a few more times.
Beautiful. Yes.
Oh, I'm seeing if there's any. Do you have any? I don't see any questions. Everybody's just, saying, yeah, like, wow, it's so interesting. And yeah, it is. It's amazing.
Have you ever used a Tibet bow?
Say what?
You ever use a Tibet bow? The woo.
Oh, the singing bowl.
Oh, yes. I actually have a really good story about one of those.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cool. Tell us.
Yeah.
All right.
So this was probably at least 5 years ago at this same camp that we go to. We were camped at the upper area away from the river, and half of the group had gone for a night walk. And I was one of the few that stayed back at camp, and I had one of the Tibetan singing bowls, and I had been using it, and I'd put it in the side pocket of my camp chair. So we're sitting there by the fire, and I can see the trees on the other side of the fire, and my car is parked just beyond those trees, and I can see this black shadow coming by, and it blocks out the light reflecting off my car. So I'm thinking maybe somebody's back from the walk headed for the potty tent, except nobody comes out on the other side of the tree. So I kind of stood up, and I'm looking, and I said, hello, and nobody answered me. And a couple of the other people sitting there with me, they got up and we all looked, and there's nobody there. So I sit back down in my camp chair, and my camp chair vibrates and it vibrates on the side where the bowl is. So I don't know if the bowl specifically was vibrated and then vibrated the camp chair, but my backside got vibrated enough to make me launch back out of that chair and damn near into the fire. It started me so good that
oh my God,
no harm was done. It was just a good startle.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah. Wow.
So just little games they like to play.
Yeah. Let's see what else. You know what? Somebody had not on here, but I was talking to somebody about the cloaking video because they had seen it, and they were wondering, is this something do you think it's something that all Bigfoot can do?
I can only speculate on that, but I suspect it's something that, they teach their young how to do, that when they're coming around camp, like when we're up there, that they're guiney pigs, somebody to practice on, we are a safe crowd to come around and see what they can get away with.
There we go. Nitroglycerin pills. We need the little paddles to bring you back to life. Okay? We need the flare guns. We need the satellite phones. Yes, I can see us now. Gosh, have mercy.
So then little ones, they wouldn't be able to have that probably.
Well,
it's a learned behavior, you think?
I don't think it's something that they're born, that's going to just automatically happen, like an instinct. I think it's something they have to learn how to do. Okay. So, that's probably something they learn how to do at a very young age. And, but, honestly, it's all just speculation. Yeah.
The Bigfoot that you saw that had like the with like the legs and walking with do you think that was a juvenile?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. What age do you think it would have been about?
Once again, just speculating, but just going by the size of the bigger ones that I've seen, when I was in the Blues last summer, I had a sighting of one that measured at 15 feet. So if that's, a big one, 7 feet is, he's 5 years old, 6 years old. Okay. Just a little guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, did you see the question? Amy said, Sasquatch are more curious and gentle when there's women, laughter, music?
I think so. That draws them in, they love to hear us laugh. They love the music. They, when we make music, we glow and we shine and we put off this beautiful, beautiful energy. And I think they're attracted to that. We're not a threat. We're there to, enjoy nature and interact and have respectful interactions. they enjoy our presence as much as we enjoy theirs.
Yeah.
Got to get rid of the fear, though. Got to get
Yeah.
past that.
Yeah.
I'd be like the Energizer Bunny.
Just give
Now,
it some time, you know. I
yeah,
can remember back when I
give
first
it time.
started doing this, I'd be so
Yes.
excited that the next day I'd feel like I was hungover, you know, just from the
Oh,
adrenaline
yeah.
rush.
Uh
You know,
huh.
I don't
Yeah.
really get that anymore, but I still get pretty excited, but
Uh huh.
you know, not so much that I feel like I'm hungover.
Yeah.
So
Nowadays it
Russell
mostly
wants
just
to
makes me
know.
giggle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Russell wants to know, do you hear any wood knocking when you're drumming?
Not really. I mean, we do hear wood knocks, but not a whole lot. And we've had them join in with, you know, like I was talking, the one guy,
Yeah.
you know, with the beat. We've
Mhm.
had them mimic us with flutes and different sounds like that, whistles. Not wood knocks. No, that's something totally different. We've been in camp right beside trees that will say something, and then it's like the tree confirms it because the tree puts out a huge wood knock, and there's clearly nobody there but us.
Oh,
So,
okay.
you know,
Yeah.
whether they're in the tree listening or there's somebody cloaked that just smacked it, you know, I don't know, but yeah.
Okay. Amy says Sasquatch tend to be very aggressive in Alaska. Is it due to the remoteness and less chance of watching people interact?
You know, I could only speculate about that. I've never even been to Alaska. You know, I think it depends on the people that they're interacting with, you know, what your
Yeah.
intentions are. And
Mhm.
if you're respectful, and if you go out into the woods looking and you're armed and you're looking to hunt something and you could be dangerous, well, that's a whole different vibe you're putting off.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we're not going out looking for evidence or proof. We just, you know, we know that they're there and they know that we know that they're there, and we
Mhm.
just want to interact and we want to learn through respectful interactions, and that's what
Mhm.
we focus on, and that seems to be something that they respond to,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So it's
Yep.
it's like, you know, if you're going out there to be a threat, well, expect to be treated like a threat.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I had said, you know, if you imagine if people walk into your house and, you know, they just walk in and you're like, wait a minute, what are you doing? And then they're mimicking you, yelling, and you know, maybe they're armed, and let's take pictures of them. I mean, I'd be pissed, you know.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
know, I
so
think that they'll give us what they want us to have, you know. So
Mhm.
if you put a recorder out, and this is actually in our group rules, you know, if you want to have a recorder, go ahead, turn it on. Just tell them you're recording, you know, explain to them, hey, I have this recorder and I'm going to put it over here, and this is the purpose of it. And if you want to you got anything you want to share with us, go ahead. And a lot of times they will give us things on recordings or on video because they know what our purpose is. And if they don't want us to, they just turn it off. And if they
Yeah,
turn it
that's
off,
you.
well, then we leave it off.
That's what you had told us. Oh my gosh, that's just incredible. Yeah. And I heard somebody else that happened to this week. Cindy and Bueno Goodbreak. She's in Idaho and she had the same thing. She kept trying to get some audio and they kept turning it off. And that's what she said.
Well,
You have
see,
to
that's part of being
press.
respectful. You know, you
Yes.
go in there and you explain your purpose. You know,
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
be sneaky. Don't try to hide it. Put it out in the open. Say, this is what I'm doing. And then they'll give you, if they have something they want you to have, they will let you have it. But if they don't, they'll just turn it off and then, you know, respectfully leave it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one and I got recorder recently, and somebody had suggested like hiding it in a windsock. So I got a windsock and I have it out there, but you're saying no, I should just
No, you don't want to be sneaky because then they're not going to trust you. You know, if you're trying to hide things from them, that's not very respectful. And they know when you're being sneaky anyway. So
you know,
just
and that's
put it
not
in the
trustworthy.
open.
Okay.
You know, I tell you about the time that I tried to be, you know, kind of sneaky with the recorder by thinking it's my yard, not the woods.
Okay.
So they were vocalizing, and I put a recorder in an inconspicuous spot that couldn't be seen from the road in my yard. And I left for a few hours and I came back and it was gone. And I found it several feet away on the ground covered in dried mud and turned off. So, you know,
that's what they thought about that.
Yeah. So if you go out there and you're respectful, there are things they'll give you, like the cloaker video. I'm sure that was intentional. That was something that was meant to be caught on camera.
Yes. Yeah.
I think everything that I've ever had on camera was, well, I think of them as gifts, things that they wanted us to have, things that are intended to be shared. And if there's a situation going on that they don't want recorded, they are perfectly capable of turning off your gear or making your camera glitch or killing your batteries or, they can do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just be respectful. Say please. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'll have to. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, it's much easier than hiding it in a windsock anyway.
I gotta figure out what a
you
windsock
gotta get past
is.
that whole "we're smarter than them" thing, because it's not going to work.
Yeah,
Grizzly,
I found that out.
Yeah. No, it's a windsock's one of those things that you just like hang outside, and then it has like a I don't know, like a thing, and then there's like streamers that they're yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So.
With the fairies dance with.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah.
We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back there, everybody, to another edition of Open Door with Grizzly and Barb Hartman. And wonderful. Yes, Barb and Barb. So this edition is brought to you by Western Kentucky Bigfoot Paranormal Investigations, LLC. Thank you, Dawn. Greatly appreciated.
Dawn, thank you.
So
Definitely.
Amy says it's a dream catcher, but when she said the swirly things, I kind of got an idea. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
and let me see. Oh, Amy had also asked, do they follow you home in a paranormal way, moving objects within your home? Have you ever experienced that?
They move things around outside, and I have reason to believe that things happen inside too, but it could just be regular ghosts in here. So I know they've followed me home from up the trail here a few times, and I know they come and hang around outside, and I've had interactions in my yard. Pretty sure they're probably the same ones that are at the campouts. So
really? Oh, so it's that close. Is that how it's? They have a big,
right here in this valley, it's as fast as they go and as easy as they move around. It doesn't take them very long, and the campouts are never more than 5 to 10 miles away from home anyway. So
okay, yeah,
right here in the same drainage.
Yeah. So the little streak that you saw, that was a little one, right? Is that what you think it was? Just running
the blur?
Yeah. And is that how they can move that quickly? I've heard.
I have seen the blur a few times. Wow. There, back when before Gabby passed away, there was a few times that. One time I was at my gifting area and I had my basket. I had just filled it and I was holding the camera up, filming what was in the basket when my camera died for no reason. And then I looked and this black blur comes up this log, an old log that was there. It came up around the end of it. And, instantly I'm thinking it's Gabby, but then the blur takes off and Gabby takes off after the blur. And then Gabby comes running back, looking over her shoulder, all happy, like, well, where'd it go? It's supposed to chase me back. but it wasn't there anymore. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of assuming that was a juvenile.
Oh my gosh, that's
And
adorable.
there's been other times when, like at dusk, you'll see Gabby in the bushes and you're like, come on, Gabby, come on, let's go. And then it takes off the other way and just a blur. And then you realize Gabby's over here.
Wow.
So it wasn't her. So I've
that's
seen the
so
black
cool.
blurs a few times.
Wow.
They're generally too fast to be able to make out what they are.
Okay.
So I speculate that they are young Sasquatch, but I can't really say that for a fact. So it could be something else out there that's also very, very fast. But the weird thing about it is, dogs run fast, but you can still tell they're a dog. Birds fly fast, but you can still tell they're birds.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is like the only kind of thing that I've ever seen that moves so fast you can't tell what it is.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
it's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Let's see.
Because Sonia used to talk about the Wampus cat. And she said
yeah.
they would run around them so fast, the only thing you see was a part of the tail. And I'd be like, no, I'm good. And then, her friends would be like, what is that? They're like,
I might be
It's beautiful. It's okay. We're safe.
So, okay. Russell wants to know, have you ever seen them eating anything?
No, I've never seen them eat, but when I used to gift, there were 3 years that every week that I went out and I left everything, snacks, toys, whatever I thought they might like. And I had taken a jar out of dried apricots, and I think it was peanuts all mixed together in a glass jar with a screw-on lid. And they took the lid off and they ate all the peanuts, and all the dried apricots were on the ground, except there was one that you could see where they had taken a bite out of it and just
they didn't like it.
And then
Oh my God.
like it, and they just
Anything like these?
Oh yes, they love the flashing balls. Yes.
Yes, that's what I heard. I'm afraid to use those where I'm at because I don't want to see these go through the woods like this or anything. Or streaks.
Honestly,
going
they
through
don't
the woods,
need those. So if you put one of those out there, that's your way out. If you're not ready to mentally accept orbs, you can blame it on the ball.
Oh,
No, okay. I thought I was getting ready to order 1,000 of these things, and she said that's my way out. I'm like, I'll be chucking them as I'm running. So yeah.
Well, hey, speaking of chucking balls, this last camp out, Debbie and Terry, who I told you were up on the upper area where they were camped, when they got there, there was like this brand new tennis ball kind of in a hole, just a shallow hole at the edge of their camp. And throughout the course of the camp out, Debbie had taken the ball and was just kind of playing with it around camp. And at one point, she just pitched it out into the woods, and they brought it back and put it back in the hole.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Did they
Pretty
just
cool,
discover
huh?
it in the hole? I mean, they didn't, it didn't come like flying back out of the
No, she didn't see it come back,
They
but
just
it was
that's
brought back
cool.
out of the woods and put back in the hole.
Wow, that's really
found
cool.
originally.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it still looked clean. That was what blew me away. It wasn't even dirty.
Wow. What do you think was behind the the uptick in activity when you had all this flurry of activity? What do you think was behind that?
I think they knew the camp out was coming, that it was
wow.
they were anticipating it as much as we were. And I think that the arrival of spring is a really big deal. When everything warms up and everything becomes green again, the leaves open, and that it's just that 1 week here. It personally is my favorite week of the year because, I can just look out the window and watch the maple leaves go from just little buds to open leaves and just watch it happen. And, the flowers bloom and the bugs come out and the birds sing. And, spring is a beautiful thing. And then not only that, but then you have the power of the snow melt coming down the rivers. And that's a lot of friction and energy in the water with all the rocks and the grit from the glaciers and everything melting. So it just creates a lot of new life and energy. And I think they celebrate it as much as we do.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Somebody had asked on my Facebook page, why do you think that that people see them swaying back and forth?
It's just the way they are, you know.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I
I
thought
just
maybe
the way they're made.
yeah, maybe they're trying to almost like I think we were talking about it last night, weren't we, Grizzly? About kind of just trying to disguise themselves, a little bit. Maybe
Like they're
if
waving
there's
with the
foliage
breeze.
around. Yeah, I don't know. Just to
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah,
Maybe trying to get a better view. Maybe it looks better from this eye.
No, it's to scare the hell out of grizzlies. What it is? Oh yeah, unbelievable.
Let's see. Does anybody have any? I don't see any questions.
No, they're just enjoying the conversations right
Yeah,
now. They're just so amazed. Yeah.
Wow, it is. It's just amazing. Oh my gosh. So what else? Anything else that you can? That's
we found a big butt print on the first Tuesday of the camp out. I was going through and picking up trash, and there was a spot that was kind of downriver at the edge of our camp area. And when I first saw it, I was thinking maybe somebody else had been through and found like a tarp or a hefty bag or something and had picked it up. And once I went around and checked, and nobody else had been down there, and we took a good look, and it really was a big old butt print, and pretty sure it was a boy. And I'm not really sure how I'm going to present this. It may just be something we talk about without any visuals. So.
Yes.
There we go in the ditch.
Leave it up to your imagination or whatever.
Yeah.
There you have it. I have several video takes of it, and I'm not sure any of them are fit for public use. So we'll just see how it's going to go.
Oh, Lord.
Well, it is interesting because I found a butt print and I could tell that it was a female. What I mean?
Yeah. So Sandy
Definitely
has a
a
cast
difference.
of one of those, and I really think it needs some underwear.
Yeah.
Amy says, "Message received."
Amy asks, "What state do you live in?" I know, so if you want to tell Amy where you're.
I'm in Washington State, just north of Mount Rainier National Park in the Cascade Mountains.
Yeah, my neighbor, not neighbor, but state neighbor.
Yes.
So let's see. I don't know. What do you? I think did I send you the video? I think I may have, Barb, that I got on my home camera one morning. It was 5:00 in the morning, and I swear that I see like little juveniles just like sitting there. Did I send that to you?
I think you did send me a video.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it looked like some of them could possibly be cloaking, but others weren't. So that makes me think, like you had said, maybe they teach their young. So maybe they're just in various stages.
Yeah. I think, like us, some are probably more talented than others.
Okay.
Some probably get it pretty easy and some struggle. They're individuals. Yeah. And if it's something they have to learn, it's not everybody learns at the same pace.
Right.
And, what better way to practice these things than, like with your siblings or your cousins or whoever else is little to play these games with. You make it fun, then it's easier to learn. So
right.
And I'm pretty sure you live in a situation where you're probably pretty fun to play with too.
Yeah, they know I'm watching them, I think so.
Yeah.
And I so do you think that maybe just like deer will put their babies, set them someplace and and go on and hunt and whatever. I'm wondering if that's what they do when they just put the babies here overnight in that spot.
Well, you got to think of it as a place that's going to be safe, because predators like cougars and bears aren't necessarily going to come in and be a real threat when they're that close to humans. And if they've observed you long enough that they know that you are not a threat,
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to hear a sound and just come out shooting.
Right,
You know,
right.
Yeah, they're going to be. Yeah,
that's why they're not
So
at your house, Grizzly.
They are. They're probably out back. They're like, here he comes.
Let's get him.
They're not
Let's
leaving their
get 'em.
babies out there.
Oh no, yeah, probably yeah. No.
No, but I've had because I've had Doe will come and drop the babies, the fawns off, just here for the day, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Grandma's babysitting. So maybe, yeah. So I like to think that that's maybe what they're doing. That's cool. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them like since though, but that was just last Monday. So I guess I still, there's still hope that they'll be back.
Yeah. See, and you appreciate those things. And
yes,
having that kind of an appreciation, I don't know whether it's, they sense your mother instincts or just because you're female or just because you appreciate these things, but they understand that. And I think when you have an appreciation for those things, they give you more of it.
That's exciting.
It
is.
Remember to say thank you.
yes, definitely.
Now, to tell somebody with no experience at all, what are these creatures? How would you describe them to somebody?
I think they're a different kind of people. They live in the forest and they don't need the things that we do. They don't have to have the shelter or the vehicles or the job or the clothes or the cell phone. They don't need any of these things. They so perfectly live in tune with nature. They're just a part of nature. They have what we lost, thousands and thousands of years ago. They don't need any of the things we do, and they just get along fine being a part of nature, and they're just a different kind of people.
Wow, that's really cool to think. Wow. Did you say I know that you I kind of know the story, but could you just explain is it your dad and is it your stepmother that they have a really close relationship with a clan?
Yeah, when I don't know about so much now. I think once you're on the radar, you're always on the radar, but if you're not reaching out and interacting with them, not that they're going to forget you, just that you're not going to be high on the list of people they're going to be reaching out to. When they were here, my dad and his wife moved up here from Texas. I guess it's been about 6-7 years ago, and they stayed one summer here at my cabin. And while they were here, they really liked my dad.
Oh,
and they would like the bridge out here from the creek. They were out there one night with a big stick beating on the underside of the bridge. And then they left that stick as almost like a handrail where my dad was going down in and out of the water there. He had slipped one time and almost got hurt. He's not a young man, but right after that, they beat on the underside of the bridge and then left this big, probably 10-foot long branch about that big around just right there. God. So it basically worked like a handrail for him to go in and out of the creek after that.
Cool. Wow.
And they'd go out and leave gifts for him. And one time, my dad had a gifting area up here just not far from where mine was. And they had forgotten to take the camera. And he said that he stayed at the gifting area when Juanita came back to get the camera out of the RV. And then after she had walked away a couple of minutes later, he realized that they had locked the RV when they walked out to the woods, and he had the keys in his pocket. So to call her back, hoping she was going to be close enough to hear, he'd hollered out, Juanita. And then from the other side of the creek, somebody else hollered out, Juanita.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Wasn't him, but they were doing their best to mimic him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that sounds like Amy said about, I think she's talking about, she had an experience at Swanee a month ago. And that, they made these owl sounds at night and they started arguing. Yeah, they do make owl sounds. They love to make the owl sounds.
Yeah, they do. I've heard owls that growl. We have owls that leave really big footprints.
Yeah.
We have owls that are kind of lazy. They don't really give it much effort. I can remember out here when all this first started for me, and before I even realized what was going on, I got off work one night and I just came in and I grabbed something, went out, and I could hear right across the road there was hoo 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 hoo. So it's like, that guy's just not even trying.
Right. Right.
And I can remember before I even realized the Bigfoots were out here, I was out looking for a missing cat one night, and I was about 100 feet up the trail, and I heard behind me in the creek, the hoo 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 hoo. My blood ran cold that time because I know that birds can't growl. I remember thinking to myself, is that something a Sasquatch might do? But nah, we don't have any of those around here. It's a small town. If we had Sasquatch around here, everybody'd know about it.
Wow,
time will tell.
Wow, and it is, and it's funny, because that's the same owl sounds that all hear. But but like you said, it's clear that it's not an owl, and you can tell when that is, but when it's not, and it's that like mimicking or the cadence just isn't,
Yep. But I think they're perfectly capable of doing a perfect owl call if they want to. I think they can perfectly mimic anything they want if they, if they're good at it, they practice. And I've heard stories of them mimicking even, weed whackers and lawnmowers, and I think pretty much anything they want to mimic, they can do it. It's a talent.
Yeah. What about frogs? Because I've
heard them mimic a frog out here in the middle of winter when everything's frozen solid.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a rooster followed by a frog, and there weren't any chickens in the woods either. So
yeah. Because I've heard that. And it's just not, it's just not. It sounds just like a frog, but it doesn't. Again, the cadence is not there. And anyway, so well, that's amazing. Wouldn't you love to? Yeah, she could see that. See them how they make these noises. Wow,
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Give me a little more time.
Yep. I'm sure you'll. Rooster frogs. Yep.
Yeah. That's what it is. And not just rooster frogs, but like January rooster frogs.
Yes.
When everything's frozen solid.
Right. Yeah. And then, Amy said, owls arguing. Yep. Oh, that's funny. So, do you think that it's, that it changes with the seasons where you're at as far as the activity, or do you think they're there all year round?
I think they're here year round. I think they come and go doing their thing. It's a big valley, and I think they move up and down and to different areas, maybe come down closer to the rivers in the winter and go up a little higher in the summer. But I don't think there's ever been more than a month or 6 weeks at any given time that I haven't had some kind of an activity here, or something that shows they're still around. Wow. So, I can't speak for other places. There's probably, other places where they migrate, or, they just, will come into an area for a while and then leave. But just speaking from my personal experience here, they live here year round. Yeah. Wow. I wonder how many generations have grown up, Yeah. I'm like that old lady who's been here forever. I came here when I was young, and they're grandmas now.
Yeah. Do you know Robin Haynes McRae? Have you heard of her?
Not personally, but I know of her.
She had she does, she's able to read energy and communicate with them. That and I had asked her if she could see, read what was going on with me. And she said that there were 2 clans. There's a clan living on my property that has about 19 members. And then there's another clan close by that they kind of interact with each other with 26 members. But she said that they were both had 2 matriarchs in power. old females that were very powerful. And she said the one was like well over 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, wow, that's whew, cool to think about. Cause I've wondered, how old they,
Well, they've got healing abilities that they can help us, with the little things, our aches and pains. I would imagine that they can doctor themselves pretty well too.
yeah. Yeah.
They live a healthy diet, they don't eat any junk food, they don't smoke, and they don't drink. And, so aside from, whatever hazards of living in the wilderness would bring, they probably are pretty tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see, have they always been in your life? Amy said,
I've had an interest since I was a very small child, and I had very strange things happening in my life when I was young. So I suspect that I've been on their radar for a lot longer than they've been on mine.
okay.
I think that there's probably been some level of communication that I just wasn't aware of that was them until, probably these last 10 years. That, looking back, I can think of so many things that, now the pieces fit together that I didn't understand back then. And I think a lot of it was in preparation for the life that I have now, so that I can have the understanding and the hindsight to deal with the things that are happening. And, because you look back on things and there's like different layers of information that are hidden inside of every experience. And, things that are on the surface level when they first happen, you don't really see beyond that until time goes by and you learn more and you can look back and go, oh, now I see, now things make sense.
Yeah.
So I think in some way that I've had a connection to them for a lot longer than I was aware of.
Yeah, that's great. So what do you have coming up in the future? Any other campouts planned or?
Oh yeah, we've got one more camp out coming up here in a couple of weeks, and I'm really excited about that. And we're going back to the place where I got the giant fingerprint last October.
Okay.
And then in July we're going to the Blue Mountains over in Northeast Oregon and Southeast Washington for a couple or 8 days, and that's my favorite place in the whole planet outside of Greenwater.
Really?
So I have high hopes for over there. And then
why is it your favorite place? Is it very active?
It's incredibly active, and they're very friendly over there. And but just the land, the scenery, the dramatic landscapes, the wildflowers, the sunsets. It's just a very magical place.
Wow.
It's really cool. The one place we're going to even has a medicine wheel that has been in use. They don't even know how old it is, but it's still in use.
Oh, wow.
So just a lot of good energy.
Wow. And where is
Great
that?
things happen. That's in the Umatilla National Forest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Samantha is asking, what does their clan structure look like? Meaning one alpha male, a group of females and younger ones, or several couples and kids?
I couldn't tell you. I know that there is a mama out here, and there's a lot of babies, which makes me think there's probably a dad around, and I suspect some big brothers. But other than that, I couldn't say. I would just be speculating, and I don't really have anything to base it on. So,
yeah. A couple of people have said Kenny Busby. Who's the other? There's somebody else that trying to think of. We were just talking about them last night, Grizzly, that have ongoing, like habituation, and they really interact. Jennifer, I know, is another one, and Sonia. I don't know if she, but anyway, thought more that it was structure of like monogamous. What they mate for life. Mike
once they said do. That too.
Yeah. So more of like that kind of a, of a structure like that.
Very well could be. I believe that the youngsters look after the other youngsters.
I made a mistake, Barb, reading the thing about how they mate. and how the female did something to the male. And I wasn't paying it. I was just reading it, and I was like, whoa, okay. So I'll let that to your imagination as well. So that was very, yes, that was very
there's some things
embarrassing.
that probably just don't need to be documented.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, or even said to the audience that I just broadcasted it this morning. Because their cars were in the ditch this morning on the way to work. So, yes, that was very embarrassing because I always like to give people facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when people ask questions, I compare it to silverbacks or gorillas or chimpanzees. So I will Google it and I will throw it out there in the chat rooms and I will read it. So the audio listeners the next days will know what's going on.
Right.
And when I was reading, I was like, wow. And everybody was just like, ah! And it was like, how beautiful. And I was like, so embarrassing. I was like, yeah, I am not doing that no more, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that was
just about underwear. Poor Crazy Witch thought somebody was asking if he was wearing underwear. And he was like, me? And I was like, oh, no. Here we go. So, yeah, he actually asked that earlier in the comments. I just let that one go. So, yes, that was fun.
Barb, have you ever heard of them wearing clothes?
No,
Okay. Because
No.
Crazy Witch was talking about that last night about about that he had heard that or somebody.
We have reports in Michigan in Appalachian Trails that they still close off clotheslines and they are wearing clothes. Now they're not like wearing skinny jeans.
Some really big people.
So I mean, they're not fitting them like maybe
they look like
Grizzly
jeans on them.
Yes, right. But
I can see how they might want a pretty strip of material to tie their hair back with, or something is something that might be useful or that makes them happy. If there's a bright colored print that they enjoy to look at, they probably would take it and incorporate it into something that they would make use of.
Yeah.
And attract a mate too, probably.
I don't know nothing about that.
Neither do I. I do not either, because they cloak themselves and they just play with me in the woods. So yes.
Sasquatch
guess who just walk into how beautiful it is? Just came to the show.
It's a beautiful thing.
Sonia just came in.
Yeah,
so.
See? There she is.
Yeah.
Can be fashionable.
Speak of the devil. Yes. So
there was a something I was listening to, or do you know, Barb? Mary Green? She's passed away though, but she was a really great researcher out of Tennessee. And I can't remember who the woman was, but she was taking notes and had written a book about this woman that was basically raised with them. And so one of the things that was really cool. And I want to say that they called this one Sasquatch, I want to say that they called him Blackie, but I'm not positive, because I know Blackie was one of the males in the clan. But anyway, so let's say Blackie, he had stolen a big white T-shirt off of.
There goes the YouTube channel.
Yeah, no. He had stolen a big T-shirt off of somebody's, and they didn't know where he got it, but off of somebody's clothesline. Like it was like, a big man. And so, and they were like, oh, it was so cute that he's walking around, maybe he's 6 feet tall, walking around and it's kind of long. But then shortly thereafter, and he didn't take it off, but he's still wearing it and it's getting like smaller and smaller and smaller. So until it got, yeah. And they said that he wore that thing and it was, then it was like dirty and almost like turned into rags, but he just kept it on. He just loved that. Guess he loved the look of that.
Well, it might have been, something that just made him happy, like a security blanket, or, it had a good feel or a good smell, or just something about it made him feel special and made him feel happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was being fashionable, I guess, right?
That's right. Yep.
Oh, yeah. So, all right. What do you think, Grizzly? Anything?
No,
Too many?
I'm waiting for Sonny to come in. Oh, beautiful. Hi, everyone. So, yes. And she knows so much about Barb, right? Because we talk about Barb all
Yes.
the time.
Mhm.
And she has fascinating stories as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it kills me because, you know, you tell people that, and I reach up because I do a lot of paranormal investigations too. And this is just a
What did that say?
I have no idea. I got haunted dolls above me, but I've got all different types of recorders, right? And I tell people that these things are that smart. They turn them off, not drain the batteries, but turn them off. Now I have one guy that wants the show, and he was like, "I want to put this to the test." So he took one of these and he duct taped it. Well, he used Gorilla Tape. Now, no pun intended. And put it to a street sign next to where he sees eye shine. And for hours, they threw rocks at the sign trying to knock it off. And the only thing you heard was ding, ding, dong, 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 ding, 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 ding. And they couldn't knock it off for hours. It's the only thing he got. Now,
They're
go back to
smart.
that. Yes.
Smart.
Well, you know, we
Gosh.
had a camp out. One of our early ones where the camper, they had a brand new trailer that they just bought. They brought it in. They had never, I mean, this was like, it's the first time they'd taken it out to the woods. And right inside the window, you go in the door and there's like the little table and benches there, and the window, and overhead there was some shelves and a radio. Well, they took one of those recorders like that and they duct taped it to the wall right inside the window. And it was right across the road from the group area. She had some tiki torches that she put out, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. And the group sat there and watched across the road as the back tiki torch went out within 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
The one on the front on the right lasted maybe 15 minutes. And then the last one that was on the front on the left by the door, it went out it lasted maybe a half an hour, and then it was all dark over there. And not much time went by and we started hearing music, and it's very faint, but we can all clearly hear there's music, but we don't know where it's coming from. And then about that time, she needed to put her kids to bed. They had, fallen asleep there by the fire. So she was carrying one of them, and one of the other campers picked up the little boy and carried him. They went across the road to put him to bed. And they got over there and discovered that the radio inside this camper, which had never even been turned on before, was blaring at full blast.
Oh, my
And the
God.
recorder had been ripped off the wall, the tape removed from it, and was wadded up into a big bunch on the table. The recorder was left turned off on the bench beside the table.
Turned off, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
my God.
Turned off.
Turned off.
And
Yep.
the radio was on.
And the radio was blaring so loud that's the music we were hearing across the road.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. And then the one tiki torch relit. So by itself.
Then people want to know why I'm on medication and I'm not an alcoholic yet. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. So that
Because
was
somebody asked about
one of
that. Did
those
they play
lessons
with fire?
right
So yes, they
early on.
must play with fire then. Because they asked about
I don't
that.
know if maybe there was still a spark in there, or they just gave it a little zap of energy, a little bit of focused energy. But it relit. We all sat there and watched it. So
Now
what I'm thinking happened is they came from behind, because it was in an area where we get a lot of activity. They come out of there. So they took out the one to the back, then the one to the front. And then finally the other one went out, and that's when they went in, did what they needed to do, and then came back out, and the tiki torch relit.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. But, I think I told you last time about some other campers who had taken a recorder and some apples and a pie up to the same area just a few days before the camp out. This was probably right in that same time frame, one of our earlier camp outs. And it's the hillside right there is practically vertical. It's very steep. And they went up there, they left the pie, they left the apples, and then they lifted up like 6 inches of moss and stuffed a recorder under there. And when they came back 3 days later for the camp out, the pie's gone, the apple's gone, and the recorder's gone.
Wow.
So they took it and they found it close to the end of the camp out. It had been brought down and left outside one of the RVs, and it was turned off.
Wow.
So nothing was recorded.
Wow.
Don't be sneaky.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll give you what they want you to have if you're respectful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Now she spins fire and they love
What?
it.
How do you do that?
Great.
Wait. What do you mean? How do you do that?
I learned.
Fire.
I have no idea. That's I got these awful pictures in my head right now, Sonia.
Is it like baton? When you light the baton on fire? Is that how do you do that, Sonia? I don't know what she means. Spins fire.
See, I've learned something.
They're not afraid of it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
now if I ever come back on the show, my beard is gone and I'm black. I got zapped, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happened with energy. So Sonia, what do you mean you spin fire?
Yeah.
So
that's like one of those the fire eater, that they got the thing that spin around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. She's all kinds of talents. That
either
woman
she's
of yours.
laughing hysterical right now or she's trying to type. So you're looking at a vegetation of Sasquatches walking around. I have a fire staff. What is a fire? What are you?
I know.
Now what do you mean? You like a wand? Where you like?
It's one of those
things
lighters that you click it and then the flame comes out over here for lighting fire.
That's a fire staff. We call those a Bic lighter.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. You're looking at vegetation.
So, Sonia, you have to tell me a little bit more. What is a fire staff? I have a staff, like a long stick, and I have a peel, and it has balls of fire. Why everything has balls? So I've noticed that with them.
You should have seen what I found under the licen the other day.
Now, what'd you find? Never mind. Yeah, she said, when she said never mind, I was like, yeah, I better not ask.
I want to know.
Yeah.
It was something to do with the butt print. I was trying to figure out where to measure things from. And I had a piece of lichen.
That's great.
Let's just put that back.
I'm dizzy. She knows. I don't know what they are, but she just gave me some. Never mind. You all need to talk because you all are on the same wavelength about certain things. I know that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because we had a guy one night on the show. He was like, his junk was on my trunk. I mean, he was on the hood. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, he did not do that on my show. He's like, it was right there in front of me. And I was like, oh my Lord, this is not happening. Yes.
And who was telling us about the guy that got his hand sat on by the Sasquatch?
Yeah. Yeah. So he was in a park. And he kept hearing something. His kid was laying next to him, and you know how the parks have some of those lights up in the trees. And he said he saw this big shadow, and he was laying next to the edge of the tent. And he said he didn't know what it was, and it sat down and it sat on his hand. And I'm like, well, what was it? He said it's a Bigfoot butt. And I'm like, what you did? He said, I squeezed it. And I'm like, what? He said, I was the first human being that ever squeezed a butt. And I was like, man, this guy's punking me out. I know. And I was like, I was going to jab it with the knife, but I was afraid to. And I'm like, no, he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. So, yes. But man, he was very proud of that moment, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll bet. Hey, it's not everybody that gets to squeeze a Sasquatch butt.
Yeah, nah, I would have passed out right then and there. I would have been dead. Yeah. Poor Amy. So Oh my God.
Well, I'm sure in the right circumstances, it would be a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
There you go, Sonia. How beautiful. She would probably have been like, I'm sorry, girl. I just had
For
to.
the one we found, there was kind of a large rock in the middle of it, and we were thinking maybe he was, having a little itch, just place to shoot.
It took me a second to visualize. I'm like, rock. Oh,
Maybe.
I can see the audio listeners tomorrow. Like, what in the hell's going on? Whew. Oh my Lord. Oh, crazy witch. I know. Yeah, this is crazy. Amy's
Well,
still
I'll tell you
dying.
what, we had one camper that took it for the team. There was one person that actually got down there and took a sniff, and she reported nothing but the smell of
No
dirt.
way.
So
No,
You know what? I thought about that, and I thought I'm not going to ask that.
no, no.
there are
no,
photographs, but I don't know
no,
that they'll ever get shared.
Yeah.
no. We have a guy that used to feed these things peanut butter. And he got, she's actually sending me pictures. Wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen, of the fire things before I say anything else. Okay. And I will show them. No, she's doing fire. They ain't saying fire. I'll show them. But anyways, he found some feces. And he said it was so big, he had to break it in half to get in his cooler.
Oh,
And it stuck up his truck for 3 days. And guess where he put it? He's like, don't tell my wife, it's in the freezer.
it's in the freezer. Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, what in the world? And man, we thought we were going to die. We couldn't even breathe. And Sonia's like, stop. Yes. How beautiful. All right, so let me bring these pictures up with Sonia dancing with some fire. I can't even say it now. I'm laughing. Anyways, let me bring these up here. Let me bring up my Facebook. But yeah, it's. I mean, he was serious. It's in his freezer. I'm like, man, the government's going to come confiscate your freezer now and everything.
Well,
so
I know some people that also kept some in the freezer, and then they put it in a cooler to take it to a conference where it thawed out. And everybody had to open the cooler to get a look.
Oh no!
And it was not good. It was not a good thing. I think they actually bought a separate freezer to keep it in, though.
Yeah.
I know somebody did not want to throw it out. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was a lot of freezing and thawing there.
Was it real big? Was it big? And it was huge, I assume.
I think it was more like a pile.
Oh my God. Yeah.
No, this was he had to break it in half.
Yeah.
I can't remember which button I'm hitting now. Y'all got me. I can't even think straight. Hold up. I'm hitting wrong buttons everywhere. Oh my Lord. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I can't even think. Hold on. I don't know where I'm at. I can't believe it. I hope this guy's never going to watch this show and us talk about him like that. I'm never coming back on his show.
Yeah, a lot of good material, though. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you. See, all right, let me minimize this. There we go. Now we're cooking with some peanut butter. And we found out they like creamy and not crunchy. So, yes, peanut butter. All right, here we go. All right, let me hit this button, present, and share screen. Here we go. It should pop. Did it not pop?
Mm-mm.
And action. There we go. All right.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. So she actually is playing.
Oh my gosh.
With fire.
Oh.
Yes.
Whoa.
Oh,
That's
whatever that
cool.
one do.
Whoa.
Let me go. Yeah, but it's actually fire, ladies and gentlemen. So
Wow. That is really cool. Oh, there it is over on the right.
You're okay. Go sit. Settle down.
Let's see. Yeah, so it's actually
Awesome.
fire.
Jeez. Wow. And they like that. I bet you they do. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow. Jeez.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
So, Barb, do you have anything planned for the weekend? Any camping?
I'm gonna try and get some of my yard stuff done.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's about it. Work on. I really, really want to get started on my garden, but I know that it's too early. And anything I really plant now, I'm gonna have to replace again in about a month.
Yeah.
So it's so hard not to go out there and just start putting seeds in and flowers in. And so I'm just going to, do some trimming and weeding and
a lot of that.
Yeah. And I've told you about the slug thing before, didn't I?
Oh yeah, but you told me, but share that.
So a couple of summers ago, I was out here, I had created this habitat across the road for slugs, which was basically a big compost pile where we were trimming trees, and I put all the leaves over there. And then I'd go out at night with a flashlight and a pan and gloves, and I would collect all the slugs that I could find, and I would relocate them to this wonderful habitat where they weren't going to want to come back, right? And it got to the point where I was kind of running low on slugs. I'd been out there maybe 10 nights in a row, and they were getting few and far between, maybe finding just a few of the little tiny ones, and that was it. So I thought, I'm going to go off over here to the side where the creek is, away from the garden, and it's more wet that way, and maybe I'll find some over there. So I get over there, and there's like this wad of slugs. And there's three kinds of slugs. There's the leopard slug, which is really fast. They're the first ones to try and escape my pan. And then there's the brown European slugs, they're very shy, and they just kind of curl up into a ball and stay that way forever. And then there's the green banana slugs, which are my favorite. They're so beautiful, the ones that are indigenous here.
Yeah.
And this collection of slugs was all wadded together, all the different kinds and sizes, and just a wad. And of course there was like two of the leopard slugs were already leaving,
oh my god,
they were on their way out of the pile, but the rest were still just kind of in a lump. And I'm thinking, well, this is so weird.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that slugs did things like this, especially, like with the different varieties.
Yes. Yeah.
So how weird is that? So, I pick them up and I put them in my pan, and I went maybe not even 6 feet. And here's another pile of slugs.
Oh my god.
A couple of the bigger leopard slugs are already crawling away from it. And that's when it clicked. Oh, these are gifts.
Yeah.
Because I'm running out of slugs. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
so
adorable.
as I was removing them from the yard, they were bringing them back, But,
there you go.
It was our nightly routine. They couldn't have me running out, so. And then, I'd go across the road and I'd fling the slugs out into that compost heap and wish them a good life and tell them to stay there. And but I didn't expect they'd get a ride back.
Yeah.
And then there was about that same season we got back from the blues, and I came in and I had left my flip-flops on the porch, walked inside, went back out 5 minutes later, and there's one of the brown European ones was in the heel of my shoe, still curled up in this little slimy ball. No trail to the shoe.
Oh, no. Right.
It's like, oh, welcome home. Have a slug.
Oh, and thank God that you saw it, people.
Yeah. So, I am particularly fond of like the banana slugs. I mean, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
So, they know that I like them, and they give you whatever's convenient, I guess. And having slugs in the yard kept me going out at night. So,
well, I hope mine can come and get the slugs out of my yard and bring them to your yard. They
relocate
eat everything.
to Greenwater. All right, the habitat's across the road, not over here.
Oh gosh.
So that's my slug story.
That's cute. That was really cute. And it's amazing that you ask and you shall receive with the Sasquatch.
Well, that's one thing I always tell our campers is, put your intentions out. If you want to have an experience, put that out there, the kind of experience you want to have, and be specific. If you need a little space or distance, or this needs to be a daylight thing, state that. If you don't want them poking you in the ribs while you're sleeping in your tent at night, say so.
Or sitting on your hand.
Yeah. If you're open to everything, make sure they know that, and if you're not, make sure they know that too. But it's a lot about putting out your intentions. What's a good thing for you, and stating what your purpose is, and what your boundaries are going to be. Okay. So I have few boundaries, especially when it comes to slugs. I like my slugs.
You ready to do that, Grizzly? You ready to?
No,
Sasquatch?
not at all.
No, not yet.
No. I even got me a good call box, and then Ron's like, "Do not make call sounds." And I'm like, "Why? You don't know what you're going to be calling in, or what you're going to be doing?
Yeah,
It's going to be a fight, or it's going to be a mating song, or a mate call." I'm like,
"You
great.
Don't need any of that. That stuff's disrespectful. Yeah. Just talk to them. Just use your own voice and holler out and say hello. Yeah, I'm here, and this is what I'm doing. Come and hang out."
Then I get a response, and I'm going to be black, and I'm going to turn back, and you're all going to be laughing at me with no hair on my face. I'm going to get zapped. So.
Well, be specific.
Joanne Jackson just came into the chat, and she's laughing something. Joanne, you got to go back and replay this one. So, yes. So Sonia just says, just manifested. Yeah, you manifest a lot of stuff. So I'm worried about you. Now that she plays with fire, oh my Lord.
All
Poor
kinds
Luna. Yeah, I tell you. Amy. What a show, ladies and gentlemen. I never know what Barb's going to do.
Well, we have a lot to draw from.
Yeah.
Draw. I'm going to have nightmares. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yes.
So I'm going to Sasquatch Fest in Forks Sasquatch Fest. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Yep, we leave tomorrow.
Congratulations. I wish I was going.
Thanks. It's my first. Well, yeah, because this is the second one. Yeah, I wasn't able to go last year, so I'm looking forward to it. I
wish I could go. Awesome. You're gonna have a blast.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah.
Boy, she has some stories.
Do you have any that you go to in the general area, Barb?
Well, I used to go out to the Sasquatch Summit out at Ocean Shores every year until COVID hit, and they brought it back last year, but I didn't make it out there. I've been to the one over in Yakima a few times. Okay. And no, it just, my husband's got a job where he just can't really just take off and have me take off without having, pre-planned, and I try to save all that for my campouts. So
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be retired here in the next year, and that'll open us up to be able to go do a lot more of these things.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Really want to go to Forks.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a blast. You'll see some of our campers there, so you'll have to ask about get some other opinions on our camp out from last week. I'm sure you'll hear about it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's great. Awesome. All right.
I know there's at least 5 ladies from the group are going to be there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. You'll have to send me their names. Yes, well, I'll look for them.
Okay. Or they'll find you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Barb.
Thank you for coming on the show again. You're welcome anytime.
Yes, it's been a blast. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a good one.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So what's his name? Put his car almost in the ditch. So John Yeah, he's like, when I heard the cooler, it was all it took for you to put the car in the ditch.
Yeah.
So yes, then I found out that Sonia is playing with fire. I was like, wow.
Yeah, wow. She's just a woman of many talents.
How
Of course.
beautiful. I never forget that. So
That was great.
yeah,
But you
it
know
was.
what? Barb ran into the same thing with her campers. I can't believe they're like, look
I
at
know.
the stick.
Look at the stick.
Like, look at the Sasquatch. Like,
I
isn't that
know.
what we're here for?
Unbelievable. So, Amy, I'm glad that you all have some good laughs off of us. I really am.
Thank you guys.
And I could imagine Barb trying to do some measurements on that butt on that butt, but yeah, we will never see the footage on the show. So yeah, Sean
I'll tell you.
Yeah,
The two
Barb
that
will
I-
see the picture. I will
Yeah.
guarantee you that. Yes.
The two that I found, they are big. They're really big.
Oh,
Big butts.
ladies and gentlemen, from coast to coast around the world, we love you guys. Y'all take care. What do you think, Barb?
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Have a good night. Thanks.
Yeah,
Bye.
take care. Bye.
It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No, we're gonna watch and listen.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
No.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, should we run?
Okay. It's a grizzly.
Are you sure it's not a chipmunk? Action. Nah, get out of here. Action.
It's a grizzly.
I'm out of here.
Huh. Maybe it is a chipmunk. It's a grizzly.
Are we gonna die?
I don't know. We're just gonna sit here and listen and watch.
Let's get out of here, maybe.
Fall!